Hello and welcome to the third game in the match for the Allies tournament against MunkFSH. Let's look at some new cards. Alright, we have a couple of them. At the top here, we have the Emissary, plus 3 cards. So it draws like a smithy. And there's a bonus. If this card made you shuffle at least one card, then you get an action and 2 favors for it. This is a liaison. So it can potentially be non-terminal, but you have to play it near the end of your deck. You have to trigger a shuffle with it, rather. Okay, that's fine. Plus 3 cards is many cards. The next one is Guildmaster. Plus 3 coin, so it's a cheaper version of gold. You have to spend an action to play it. And when you gain this card, similar to Haggler, you get a favor instead of gaining a cheaper card. What can we use our favors for in this kingdom? Plateau Shepherds. So this is interesting. We talked about this before. It scores you points depending on how many favors and 2-cost cards you have in your deck. Notice we have Vagrants on this board, so you could collect some favors from your Emissary or from the Underling or the Student. Collect a lot of Vagrants and have them be worth 2 points each at the end of the game. Alright, we've seen the other cards, Underling and Student. Lich. I'm going to have a problem with Lich, just like Ghost. You know, it's very hard to get and it doesn't do that much for you all the time. But I'm eerily attracted to those cards and I will break my back and lose the game just to try and gain those cards. Anyways, Lich problems aside, how do we play this? There are no actions in the kingdom. I was wrong. There's a Necropolis I see here now. So what you can do is limited, rarely. There are only a couple actions you can play and you probably use it for plus buy or for gain. The opening seems relatively easy to me. Spice Merchant and Student. Student will get rid of the cards the Spice Merchant cannot. And I think we both open that way. Spice Merchant. No, Develop. So MunkFSH gets a Develop instead of the Student. I wanted the Student because it trashes the cards the Spice Merchant cannot trash, and also I get to Lich. I get to Lich things. Why wouldn't I want to Lich things? Obviously I want to Lich things. So I rotate to get, we have to get to the Lich, so we must rotate. I need to be more judicious about when I rotate things. I was just too happy during the tournament. Luckily we find a Spice Merchant after removing the Overgrown Estate. And pick up a Vagrant. And the reason for that is, well, there are a couple cards that the Vagrant can't pick up in the deck, the Necropolis and the Hovel, but I'm planning to have those Vagrants be worth some points at the end of the game. Alright, back to MunkFSH. Spice Merchant comes out. Good for them. I'll be thinking about Emissary for a lot of this game here, but I won't ever actually buy it. It's good draw. There's no draw in the kingdom, but Emissary can be non-terminal draw at least once. You know, it'll trigger the shuffle. Alright, silver to MunkFSH. So I was desperate to try and make it work, right? And I had 5 there. Should I buy the Emissary? I decided for the Highway instead. Because the Conjurer is revealed and I have sole control over the wizard pile because I am the only one with a Student, I know that I will be able to get a Conjurer at my convenience. Highway first, Conjurer after gains me highways, just like Workshop. So that is going to be very helpful for me to win that highway split. The Develop for MunkFSH comes out. The Trash and Overgrown Estate here. To gain the Vagrant, this happens sometimes to me that I neglect that I would have to gain a copper if I develop these shelters. I don't know if that happened or if that was on purpose, but we play it as is. We get some trashing in here with Spice Merchant and Student. Not enough to get up to Conjurer though, so hopefully we could get that soon. Start to conjure up some highways. Rarely looking at that Emissary because the deck is thin. Like, maybe I could use it for non-terminal draw. Maybe, I don't know. Here, this is a bit of a sad draw. We didn't see any of our trashers I would have liked to have seen is particularly the Spice Merchant, but what can you do? First highway for MunkFSH here. I do manage to get the Conjurer though, so hopefully I can see it on this turn. Do we see it? Here's the highway. Where's the Conjurer? At the bottom of the deck, that is infuriating, honestly. And I don't even want to play this student because I would like to buy a second Conjurer. I have the Necropolis. I hope my plan is to, you know, use the Necropolis to support 2 Conjurer players after many highways. The deck will be very thin, so I think I could manage that even without the Emissary in the deck. So we go for it. We go for the second Conjurer. Also, there's Orchard on the board, so that does, you know, make sure I'm the only one with the ability to get Orchard points from the Conjurer, if that becomes relevant in the end game. It's not our concern now, of course. I do need to find a way to Lich, though, because we like Lich. We want to use Lich. Alright, they have a Conjurer, MunkFSH. They use it to gain another Spice Merchant. Makes sense with all the coppers they've been gaining. And they gain an Underling. I understand the Underling as well. Like I said, there's Plateau Shepherds on the board, so we miss the highway here. Infuriating couple of turns for me here. I was really very upset with this. And here I don't know what to gain. So I just went ahead and I gained an Underling. Because I wasn't ever actually sure if I was going to gain the Emissary to gain the favors. I need the favors from somewhere, right? It should be either Emissary or Underling. Guildmaster is terminal, and my terminals are reserved for Conjurer. So I take the Underling. Fine if I have to, you know. I don't really want to, but since you made me, I'll take the Underling and buy a Vagrant. Alright. Hopefully here we could line up the Highway and Conjurer. I have 2 Conjurers, I have the Highway in hand. Come on, deck, come on. You're squandering my advantage here. Alright, so they conjure up another Spice Merchant. So they have 3 Spice Merchants, and they develop their last Shelter. I'll pick up another Vagrant. So we're going after the Vagrant split here. I do see 1 Conjurer, not the Spice Merchant. I don't know why the deck is behaving like this. We will use the Conjurer to get another Highway, and I don't want to trash here because I don't really want the Student on top of the deck. Now the Student is a little bit cumbersome now, to be honest, so I'm a bit hesitant to play it. I would like to get to the Lich, but I would like my deck to be under more control first before I start playing that Student to move piles around. Alright, so MunkFSH gets their second Highway. They conjure up a second Highway, I should say. And they buy another one. So right now they are ahead on the Highway split, which is not something I expected, honestly. Hopefully we could rectify that here. And finally, everything comes together in the way we wanted to. Double Conjurer for double Highway. Unfortunately, I don't quite have the money to pick up a third Highway. That is going to be a concern later on in the game because the highways are being contested. If I had 8 highways, I didn't need money. I could just conjure province and buy province with no money in the deck, but I will need some money because I won't be able to drop the price that low. Alright, so MunkFSH conjures up a 4th highway, and I think they do buy a 5th one here, so we do end up splitting the highways 5-5. So we both can conjure provinces, and I want $3 in the deck so that I can potentially buy a province if I need to. So I want to be able to threaten triple province is the idea here. The Spice Merchants here did a lot of work for them. They triggered 3 of them, trashed 3 coppers, and drew through their deck. They have to be very happy about that. They have a lead in the favors, 6-3, but I'm not worried about that. I have my single Underling putting in work, and we'll get there eventually. You know, the only real pile of concern there is the Vagrants. Alright, so they get another highway. They leave 1 for me, which I will happily take. So we take that highway. Thank you very much. Really, I am thinking about that Emissary so hard because I really would like the extra draw. You saw that I had some frustrating draws through the middle here. An Emissary may have alleviated that situation. But I feel it's too cumbersome. I need to draw it near the end of the deck. If I draw it in the middle with the Necropolis, I give up on a Conjurer play. That might be okay still, but I don't know. I really wanted to play both Conjurers here. You know, this is how you gain some advantage in the game. If you could gain more cards than your opponent, you could generally do more than them. Anyways, here, instead of conjuring the highway first, I conjure a treasure trove. I need money. I could have just conjured the gold and been happy with that. Maybe I should have done that. But I was thinking about the Spice Merchant. I don't know why. Oh, this is why. Because I wanted to rotate around to the Lich. So now I could trash the copper. And I could have rotated there. I chose not to. Because now I'm thinking about orchard points. Piles are thin, right? Highways at 1, vagrants are 2. And both of us can conjure provinces. So we do need to start thinking about the end game here. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to get to Lich. Conjurer here, I could conjure the province, but I choose not to conjure the province. I could have conjured the province on board the highway, but I'm going to do something else. Conjure the highway, and on 2, really, this Emissary is bothering me. But on 2, I think I just pick up another vagrant. It'll be worth 2 points soon enough. Either that or a third conjurer. One of those 2 plays I make here. Where is it? Is it the vagrant? Do we get the vagrant? Yeah. Okay, we get the vagrant. Maybe it was right to conjure a province there and buy the highway. But we choose to build a little bit here before going for the provinces. Once I put the provinces in the deck too, the vagrants are more likely to draw cards, so hopefully that'll help out with the draw situation. That is what also discouraged me from the Emissary a little bit. Alright, so MunkFSH here has to deal with the Spice Merchant somehow. They do also conjure up a treasure trove of their own, I believe. The nice thing with the Conjurer though, it stays out of your deck, so it doesn't clutter things up. Yeah, look, develop the Spice Merchant, gains a trove, draws the trove, and they will play said trove. So they conjure up the first province and they buy another one. Alright, so this game, the end game here is easy to count because we both have at most 3 gains. So once I don't leave 3 provinces in the pile for them to pile out on me with, we are safe. Right, we are safe. So I'm just taking stock of what is in play, what is in hand, and what I have in the back, what cards I have left. I trash out gold here. This was not smart because I actually needed the money. If I wanted to buy 3 provinces, I needed the money, but buying 3 provinces I think is wrong there. Well, conjuring 2 and buying 1. So instead of buying the province, I'm going to go ahead and not get the duchy because a conjurer is worth 4 points for me, which is more than a duchy. Or I could get a vagrant, which is 2 points and doesn't negatively affect my deck. So I do take the vagrant. I have 7 favors now, which I think is how many vagrants I have. So those pair up nicely. I get 2 points for each vagrant. And if I want, I could, always conjure an estate or something if I just see the conjurers or whatever, I'll accumulate favors throughout the rest of the game, and then the estates will be worth as much as a duchy. Alright, so the turn is back to MunkFSH here. I think they will see all of their highways, if I'm not mistaken. So when I said we are capped at 3 gains, that isn't exactly true for MunkFSH because Develop gains 2 cards. But there's no way I think they could gain, 2 sets of points with the Develop. They do get an Emissary here, which is nice for them because they top deck it near the end of their shuffle, so they will be able to play that for non-terminal draw. And they conjure up a province. Makes sense, right? If I get a triple province turn, I probably just win the game outright. And now the choices on what to buy here for them. They go for the duchy. They could have gone for an underling there to gain 4 points from the orchard instead. I think that was better. The duchy is I will take the duchy too, you know. And here, yeah, we break, right? We break. It'll happen once the green cards start to come into the deck. I am able to still conjure some duchies at the very least, and I would like to play the conjurers to get them out of the deck. I do not want to play the student necessarily. It'll go back on top of the deck, and I don't want to have that there. So what do we conjure up here? I conjure a hireling, an underling, not a hireling. So that gets me orchard points, 2 of those, and gold comes down, treasure trove comes down, and I get another conjurer for more orchard points. So I'm not touching the province pile. In theory, I think they could win here, but they would have to conjure and develop into a province. Maybe they could do it because the highway brings down the price of things, but no, I don't think they could develop into a province, which is critical. But they have the plus buy from the spice merchant, right? So they could conjure one and then buy 2, for example. So I am in some danger of losing the game here, especially after this lovely emissary draw. So we'll see how much they get up to. I was very worried here because I thought I controlled most of this game, and then at the end here, because the deck bricked, I was in danger of losing it all. They gain an underling that gives them orchard points, and they just buy 1 single province. So we're safe. We get away that turn, but we need to be able to get 2 provinces here, and it's not entirely clear at this stage in the shuffle that I will be able to. Draw. Where's the necropolis? Come on, find it. Yeah, thank you, Vagrant. Woo! Alright, we have the win in hand because we found that necropolis. We also found enough money to buy the second province, even if we didn't find the necropolis. So we take that game 3 there. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.